Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jenny. I'm a tropical Western astrologer, and I bring you the lunations, new moon, and full moon updates for you with an intuitive astrology flair to help you understand how it's impacting your life and perhaps impacting the life and the world around you. So, welcome. Today we're talking about the full moon in Libra. It's hitting on April the 12th at 23 degrees. Guess what else is happening on April the 12th? Venus, the ruler of Libra, the ruler of this lunation, is stationing direct the same day as the full moon. So, wow, it's very rare that the ruler of the moon either full moon or new moon is stationing either retrograde or direct on the same day. So I believe it's a loud and clear message from Venus. What were the lessons from the Venus retrograde? If you want to go back and understand Venus retrograde a little bit more, go back to the podcast episode that I did with Joanna on demystifying divinity. And it talks about all Venus related, it's all Venusian things, beauty, money, sisterhood wounds, motherhood wounds, all those things, friendships, your family lineage, all that stuff. You can go back and listen. Also, you can find it here on my YouTube channel. But we've had Venus in retrograde since March the 1st. So April the 12th, it's almost 40 days Venus goes retrograde. So April the 12th, we got a full moon in Libra, and April the 12th, Venus stations direct. So there's also more astrology to this full moon. I've written down notes so I don't forget anything. I do like to include this part of my videos just to explain the astrology because we get a full moon in Libra every year, but it's not always the same. It's not the same degree. Its ruler doesn't often go station direct the same day. And then, of course, there's squares and there's sextiles and all that sort of stuff. So I like to get into this a little bit just to help you understand that just because it's a moon in a particular sign, it could have a different flavor each year, and this year it does. So again, stationing direct on April the 12th is Venus, its ruler, and it's at 24 degrees Pisces. Now, Venus loves being in Pisces. It's exalted there. It's its second favorite home. So it's working strong. Venus is working strong. And so there will be some Venusian messages for all of us to embody. If we don't embody it on the actual lunation, that's okay. But to hopefully walk forward in our life and embody the messages from this Venus, extremely Venusian full moon. Okay, Mercury went direct on April the 7th. I'm actually recording this prior to all of this, but we have the retrograde planets where Mercury and Venus for quite a while. They're both going to be direct by the time of this full moon. Sun and Chiron are together at 23 degrees. So 23 degrees is the moon. Right across is Aries at 23 degrees. So we're still in Aries season. And Chiron is there. Chiron is there with the sun. Chiron's the wounded healer. We love Chiron. For all of us, whenever you book an astrology reading with me, I usually always hit your Chiron wound because this is the part of your life. It might not be your biggest trauma for some people, but for me, it was my biggest trauma in life. And you can see it very clearly with your Chiron in your natal birth chart. And then it also indicates not only what happened and when, but then you're supposed to teach others, whether it's even one person, you're supposed to teach others how you healed that Chiron wound. So with the Sun and Chiron together in a conjunction, this is whole new beginning energy. And then again, with Venus stationing direct on the same day of this full moon, this is whole new beginning energy. It's a new story. That's really what I want to get into in this intro before I go through the 12 zodiac signs. We need new stories. We need new stories regarding our Venusian wounds. Okay, so does anyone have a Venusian wound out there? We were all encouraged to give a hard, honest rethink, relook, reanalysis whenever there's a retrograde. This time it was in Venus. All those words, rethink, reanalyze, reevaluate, all those Venusian wounds. What are Venusian wounds? Money, girlfriends, sisterhood wounds, motherhood wounds, friendships. all those relationship wounds, not just with females, but Venus rules relationships. So if it's romantic wounds, if it's sisterhood wounds, it's codependence wounds, it's people-pleasing wounds, and then again, money. Do we have money blockages? And do we overspend? Do we do we have scarcity mindset? And it's also all things beauty. How do we look? Do we have wounds about our actual physical appearances? Um, and I always advise during a Venus retrograde, rethink that haircut, that tattoo, that facelift during Venus retrogrades because you might regret it. So I know you've already listened to those podcasts, and if you would like to go back and re-listen, our podcast is called Demystifying Divinity. You can find us on Apple and Spotify. You can also find those videos up here on my YouTube channel. So, but with the sun and Chiron, it's the same stuff. It's rethink your stories. And with the full moon up there illuminating in the dark sky, we normally can't see what we can't see in the dark. The full moon illuminates what we can't normally see in the dark. And for us, it's going to be clearly those Venus wounds because Venus is stationing direct the same day, giving us huge reminders of our Venusian wounds, and we're going to have new stories. We are being begged and guided and demanded by the planets this year of 2025 to start new stories about ourselves. Start new stories. I'll repeat that. Start new stories. Stop telling those victim stories. We need to stop telling our victim stories. And I know a lot of us have quite the stories. A lot of us have been done wrong. A lot of us have been dissed pretty bad. And I sure am one of them. And I have to, and you have to, and we all have to start telling new stories. The Sun and Chiron together at the same time of this full moon in Libra with Venus stationing direct. We need new stories. The old stories have to die. We need to stop telling our victim stories. This is clearly what this lunation is begging us and telling us to do. It's the first lunation after the eclipses, and all of those eclipses that happened in March, oh my gosh, changed so much, whether it was on an internal level or your physical world changed. I've had people text me about losing their dads, losing other family members, having terrible accidents. Things like this happen in eclipses. And I'm not trying to scare you for future eclipses or anything like that. But I'm advising all of us to observe what did and did not happen, what was taken out, what came in during the eclipse season of March. And maybe it was you finally are no longer telling the victim stories because they were no longer, you realize they are no longer serving you. That would be like Venus clapping, going, yes, yes. It's like there's so many funny memes about spirit guides, like playing the games with you, doing the chaotic thing. It's like you weren't listening. But Venus is clapping for those of us that realized because we reevaluated and rethought the victim stories around relationships, around the gossip that's going on around about us, about the smear campaigns that were started, say, back in high school, and you're still retelling the stories. And then you keep re-seeing it in all of your relationships since high school 30 years ago, or whatever your story is. Whatever your story is. We've been guided by Venus retrograde, perhaps in our dreams, perhaps in our interactions with perfect strangers at the grocery store, perhaps in interactions with our greatest loved ones. Perhaps we receive text messages from people we haven't heard from forever and have brought up all the old stuff. We all have a story of what happened with all the crazy astrology of March, not only the eclipses, but the Venus retrograde. And now here's the first lunation since all of that stuff that happened in March Here's the first lunation. It's on April 12th. It's a full moon. It's in Libra with the ruler Venus stationing direct on the same day with a huge spotlight in the dark sky showing you, here it is. Now, how are you feeling? How are you feeling at a full moon? You always ask yourself this. I don't care what the astrology of the particular moon. There's one more thing about this moon. There's a T square to Mars. There's a T square from the sun to Mars. There's a square from the sun to Mars. There's a square from the moon to Mars. So it makes a T square. So for some of us, we'll be feeling that. Some people will be feeling that square of, oh God, I want to keep fighting. I want to keep telling my victim stories. And you launch into them when you go out for cocktails with your girlfriends, or you call your mom, or you write that angry letter to your mom, or whatever it is. Whatever it is, perhaps you're feeling that T square more than you are feeling the Venus direct at the time of this full moon, because Venus direct is guiding all of us. Clapping, Venus is saying, yes, you're worthy of it all. Venus is the planet of worth, knowing your worth. So perhaps you had to cut ties during Venus retrograde. Perhaps you had to make the decision to not text back that person in that angry text. I don't know. There's a million different things that could have happened. Perhaps you were dreaming about standing up for yourself against the bullies, finally, once and for all. Finally, you finally stood up against the bullies. Venus was retrograde all that time since March 1st and now April 12th on the time of this full moon. Maybe you're feeling the claps from Venus going, yes, you received that. Yes, you felt the pain of that. Yes, you moved through those shadows. Yes, you are transmuting the shadows into light now, and I'm clapping for you because you reanalyzed. You're no longer blaming yourself. You're no longer blaming others. You're no longer gossiping about all the things. You are no longer participating in any of the smear campaigns. You are no longer overspending. You are now unavailable for scarcity mindset. You are no longer putting yourself down for the way that you look. You are no longer identifying as the way that you look because it really has nothing to do with who you are. All of those things are Venus or Venusian, and maybe those were big things that you finally let go of during the eclipse season with Venus retrograde at the same time. Maybe you finally learned the lessons. Maybe you're finally willing to get beyond the victim stories. If I were to say there were one thing that this lunation is teaching us, and again, it's that Sun Chiron conjunct, as well as right across the street in Libra, the full moon and its ruler stationing direct on the same day. It's that same energy of Sun Chiron. And so Venus going direct on the same day as that full moon illuminating in the sky. The main thing is letting go of the victim story. And it probably has to do with past relationships and how you were left feeling from those relationships. You are no longer available to feel that way, to take on any blame, to be responsible for what they all were gossiping about you. You are no longer available for the scarcity mindset of it all. You, you are no longer available for that. And Venus is clapping for you. You got it. Because you're worthy of so much more. You're worthy of the support. You're worthy of the money. You're worthy of the love from friends and family. You just are. So Venus is clapping. So check in with how you're feeling at the time of this lunation. Are you feeling the square to Mars in still at the very end degrees of Cancer? All that passive aggression. All that passive aggression of Mars and Cancer that's been for months with Mars being there. Just blaming and shaming and not taking any responsibility and not saying the thing, but saying it passive aggressively. Are you feeling it that at the time of this full moon? Or are you feeling the, yes, I can now let all that go and I'm going to start telling new stories? Where are you feeling? No judgment here. I'm just telling you, this is probably how you are feeling. It's going to be one or the other. This is how you're going to be feeling this full moon because whenever the first lunation after the eclipses, you always look at that first lunation. And then, like, it wasn't just eclipses in March, was it? It was a whole bunch of other things. And so it's preparing us for this new paradigm, for this new era. Neptune going into Aries at the end of March, March 30th. We're still feeling that one. That's like and it's going to be there for about 14 years, I think. So it's way more subtle, right? Where it's going to take us some time to figure this out. This is spiritual gangster energy. This is for all of us that are on this path. If you're listening to this video, watching this video, you're on the path of, you're the empath. You're trying to understand your emotions. You're trying to understand what your future self will do. You're trying to connect with your future self. You're trying to understand the sensitivities all around you. You wouldn't be watching this video if you didn't feel all the energies. And so this, with Neptune going into Aries, we're all going to be receiving new upgrades to our spiritual awareness, to our gifts. So that's exciting too. And yeah, we'll be feeling that at this full moon as well. So there's so much going on. I mean, I'm just laughing because it's like it's nonstop and it's going to keep happening in 2025. And we need, if there were one thing that we were to advise, well, the number one thing that I advise to people, and I say it all the time, turn off your news. Turn off the news. Turn it off. Us highly sensitive people can't handle the news. Okay, don't. So then you're saying, oh, keep your head in the sand and don't be informed. No, I'm not saying that, but I'm saying turn off the news. We're way too sensitive for it. This particular lunation is in Libra again, right? So it's all about balance and harmony, getting balance. It's about justice and fairness. The Libra is the scales of justice. So it's like legal things like the law. So a lot of Libra people, strong Libra people. I'm a strong Libra person because I have the moon there, but like if you have your sun there, or if you have a stellium of planets in Libra, you probably your whole life have felt like I need to fight for justice or I want justice and fairness. So there's that. But we, as Libra people, we have to stay balanced. We can't be off balance. We need harmony. And so with Venus stationing direct the same day as this full moon, it's such a reminder of, are you off balance still? Because we can get really off balance with all of these planetary transits and changes. The world's changing this year. We've got all these outer planets going into new signs. So the first one just happened, Neptune going into Aries. There's going to be a whole bunch more throughout the year. So I'm going to be doing these regular updates to help you check in with yourself. But the big thing, like I said, turn off the news. But the big thing for us highly sensitive people, for those of us on the healing journey, for those of us who identify as empaths, whatever you want to label us, crazy, for us people, our people, what we need to do is we need to let the victim stories die. And this full moon is the death of those Venusian victim stories. And so you've been working on it, you've been feeling it, you've been knowing it. And again, maybe it's showing up in your dreams. For me, I've been dreaming of the bullies of my life, of yesteryear, and you think they're not still there. You think you've healed it, and then they show up in your dreams. For me, I dream every night. So like that's how it shows. It's showing up different for everyone, right? And so standing up to the bullies is such a big one. And Venus is like, yes, that's right. We need fairness. We need justice. You need to use your voice. Venus rules Taurus, which rules the voice. You need to use your voice. Our throat chakras are clearing. I've been clearing so many of my energies and relationships wounds and the sisterhood wounds and the gossip and all of the things that's been coming up for me. Do share in the comments what's been coming up for you. But for all of us, we need to collapse the lies. So what does that mean? That means never before has there been a time to meet with our inner child. Now, Joanna and I just did a very powerful workshop to help us meet with our inner child and to let it go. We need to let it go. And so for those of you who are like, oh God, that sounds woo-woo. What the heck do you mean about meeting with our inner child? Okay, so may I advise you to close your eyes when you're going right before you go to bed at night, or if you meditate, to call forward your inner child. So envision her if you can, or think about him and just welcome him or her to the space of healing and say, I am now available for you, and do the reparenting as needed. I mean, we all need to do this work. This isn't something that we can just la la la. And for those of us that have been la 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 for a long, long time, it's all coming up to the surface now. It's all coming up to the surface. So we're seeing it everywhere we go in our, even in our dream state, for us to finally meet with our inner child, collapse the lies, and let our inner children know that beautiful, brilliant inner child that that was actually a lie, or just embrace them, or whatever it is that your inner child needs, because we are no longer telling those stories, and we are no longer living the life of those lies. So that's us. That's us confronting our egos. That's us being smart enough to see that that's living in ego centric, and we are no longer living egocentric. We are now, we're still using our minds because they're brilliant and they're beautiful, but we're now connecting to our hearts more than ever. And we want to use both. We want to use our mind and our heart. And we want to notice when it's our ego showing up and it's our fear showing up. And we're going to collapse those lies. We're not going to tell those stories anymore. This full moon is going to illuminate the lies that we are continuing to believe, the programs that we are continuing to live out. And so for those that are still caught there, it's no judgment. It's okay. But if you feel more of that square energy to Mars that is so passive aggressive, never really says the thing, but like is constantly love bombing and gaslighting and all that crap. That's Mars and Cancer. And if you're feeling more of that, and then all these examples come up of all the times you've done it or it's happened to you. And if you're just feeling that at the time of this full moon, that's such a time to take pause and to do the shadow work, because we do have the power within us to take charge of our emotions so that our emotions do not take charge of us. And when you look at the shadows, you realize the programs that you're running on. And our programs are usually sizzled in at about age 7. And then we just continue to into our adult life, just living that program that we thought was right when we were a child. So if you're feeling more of that energy, that passive aggression, gaslight, if you're feeling more like it keeps coming up, and okay, that's okay. Be the observer of your life and know that that's where you're at, and you've still got some shadow work to do. On the other hand, if you're feeling more of this Venus clapping for you, going, yes, you did it, and you're no longer living those lies, you have healed those sisterhood wounds, you've healed those mother wounds, the money wounds, the way that you look wounds. Venus, you might be feeling that. So just check in with yourself. It's all allowed. It's all okay. Give permission to feel all the things, because this full moon is so illuminating for us to walk this path in 2025. There's so much personal work for all of us to do in 2025 so that we're not living in those programs that were sizzled in to our subconscious mind at around by age 7. Okay, so that was my rant about this full moon that maybe you were or were not expecting or wanting. So that's my rant. We are going to let it die. We are going to allow it to surface. We are going to sit with it. We are going to talk to it. And we are going to name it if we want to. Give it a name, give it a personality. And then we are going to ask it to leave because it is no longer serving us. So I hope that my preaching service at the time of this full moon has served you. I do hope that most of you are feeling those great vibes from Libra saying, yes, you did it. You transmuted it. Yes, but for those of you that are feeling the, ooh, that passive aggression from Mars and Cancer energy still, that's okay too. You're allowed to be exactly where you're at. And that is, as an intuitive astrologer, what I see coming at the time of this full moon in Libra. So now, let's go through the all 12 zodiac signs to see where this is hitting your chart personally so that you can take this work even deeper. And that's what I love about doing these readings at the time of the new moon and the full moon, because it encourages all of us to come more in sync with our intuition, with our guidance. We all have spirit guides. We all have spirits out there helping us if we're willing to listen. All we have to do is ask for help, say it out loud, speak it in your mind's eye, however it works for you. When you're on your morning walk, call it in. All we have to do is ask for help. And the planets, the luminaries, the moon is always talking to us. And so I would definitely encourage you, if you haven't yet, to get my moon journal, because it steps you through the four most important lunar cycles of each month and then how to work with them, because I give you the journal prompts. So at a full moon, generally, at a full moon, except for if it's an eclipse, full moon, at a full moon, we always look back 6 months. So for us, that was in October of last year, beginning of October, October 2nd, I think it was. That was the new moon in Libra 6 months ago. And so if you follow these videos, I always advise you at a new moon, a normal new moon, not an eclipse new moon. A normal new moon, you write your intentions and you find the area of where Libra falls in your natal birth chart, so that you know the area of life to write the intentions for. So that 6 months later, when the moon is full, you look back and you see the full moon will always show you what has manifested. The full moon will always show you what has not manifested regarding those intentions that you set 6 months ago. It's like you're planting a seed. You're planting the seeds in the dark soil with the dark sky, because the new moon is dark. And so you plant those seeds in the dark soil. And then 6 months later, you go to get the harvest. Has it grown? Has the harvest grown, or is there absolutely nothing there for you to collect at the harvest? And if so, it's time for you to rethink this area of your life. And the moon's always there to guide us. So this is what I teach you in my moon journal. So thank you so much for all your feedback. Please do share a review on Amazon if my moon journal has helped you, as I know so many of you said it has, and I'm so grateful for that. Okay, let's go through all 12 signs so you can know where this full moon is illuminating for you in your personal birth chart. Libra rising, first house. Are you a Libra rising person? Well, if you are, I'm probably friends with you because most of my friends are Libra risings. Makes sense, because in the seventh house is Aries. And so I'm an Aries. I'm a strong Aries person. So it makes sense. But anyways, back to being a Libra rising. Are you a Libra rising? This full moon is hitting your first house. So what is La Luna? La Luna's up there, illuminating like a bright spotlight in the sky, in the dark sky. So the illumination from La Luna, you can see things that you normally can't see in the dark. So what's showing up for you? Now, it could be any area of your life when it's your first house, and you might be feeling a lot of anxiety when there's a lunation in your first house, because it can be you can feel it in all areas of your life, and it can be very confusing. The moon can be very confusing. And whenever you pull the moon card in the tarot, it often indicates like vague and foggy and brain foggy or confused. So you might feel that way, and that's okay. You're allowed. Accept that and then move through that. But Libra rising, what is La Luna illuminating for you? So perhaps 6 months ago in early October, you got out your moon journal. You got out the moon journal and you wrote intentions at the time of the new moon. And it's your first house. So it could be an identity thing. I want a whole new identity, I want a new look. Maybe you've lost a whole bunch of weight. Maybe you're showing up for yourself and therefore the world is noticing you. You got the job, you got the boyfriend, whatever. It could impact any area of your life when it's hitting your first house. And perhaps you set some very strong intentions 6 months ago, and now the Luna is showing you what showed up, what has showed up. And it's regarding Libra things, relationships, money, sisterhood wounds, motherhood wounds, the way you look. Again, it could be a massive weight loss, right? So, or weight gain if you needed to gain weight, could be about all about your health and balancing out. Harmony and balance is the name of the game when it comes to a Libra moon. And so, do you have balance now? Do you have harmony in your life now? And perhaps you set that intention very strongly 6 months ago. So let us know, Libra rising, how's this showing up for you? Are you feeling all the feels? Are you feeling more of that square to Cancer, with Mars in Cancer? And there's way more passive aggression than you would like. There's still a lot of relationship drama in your life. Is that still happening for you? No shame, no judgment if it is. Maybe this is now the full moon is illuminating what needs to end. There's always an ending when there's a full moon because it is the end of the cycle, right? So now I am no longer available to people please, and I now know that. Venus was retrograde since March 1st. We've got the full moon in Libra now, and it's in my first house, and I'm now seeing, oh yes, I have the disease to please, and I am no longer available for that. Oh, yes, I'm in codependent relationships for all my life, and now I'm no longer available for codependency. Maybe, it could be any or all of the above. Let us know, Libra rising, because this lunation's in your first house. Scorpio rising. So that's me. I'm a Scorpio rising. It's in our 12th house. So what's been showing up for you? La Luna's always up there in the dark sky, like a bright spotlight shining in the dark where we normally can't see. So what's been showing up for you, Scorpio risings? If you're a Scorpio sun, you might be listening for this as well. It's all 12th house related things. So have you been dreaming? Have your dreams been communicating with you? Because the 12th house rules dream state, right? Or perhaps it's like your daydreams during the day. The 12th house also is addictions. Okay, what needs to let go? The full moon is always the end of a cycle, right? So maybe, just maybe now is the time to quit the smoking. And La Luna is illuminating that for you. It could be something like that. It could also be something to do with facilities such as hospitals, prisons, rehab centers, orphanages, could be those kind of facilities. Maybe something's coming to an end regarding those kind of facilities. It is the undoing house. It is the final house. The 12th house is it. It's the last stop. It's the end of the road. So for us Scorpio rising people, or if you have a Scorpio sun or strong Scorpio, you're listening for this as well, that's cool too. There is a very strong need for us to finally let it go. And again, it could be what I was preaching about at the beginning of this video, letting go of that victim story. The victim story is no longer serving you. It served you for however long, perhaps your whole life. It no longer serves you. You are no longer available for telling the story, for living in the story, for believing the lies. You're no longer available for that programming. So for us Scorpio rising folks, this could be a huge ending, and it could be related to all of those Venus retrograde things that we've been pondering since March 1st. So sisterhood wounds, the gossip that's been going on about us. We no longer believing that we were at fault. Maybe we finally say to ourselves, no, it wasn't my fault. And I know I didn't deserve that smear campaign. It could be that, and it could be finally letting go of that story that is no longer serving you. Perhaps you were a victim. I'm sure that you were, but no longer identifying with the victim. And Venus is up there stationing direct, just clapping for you, just saying, that's right. Because you're worthy of so much more. Venus is the planet of worth. And when you have a strong transit with Venus in your 12th, it's over. It doesn't serve you anymore. And it's the end. And so if you're feeling that, maybe even a little bit from that square, that passive aggression, maybe you're still feeling that too. That's okay too. You're allowed. But Venus up here in the bright sky, stationing direct, saying, you know what? You deserve better friends. You always did. You know what? You deserve more money. You always did. It's all that stuff you deserve and you're worthy of. You're feeling that, and it's time to let go of the old stories so that all of the abundance can flow into your life because Venus does want all of that abundance into your bank account, into your life. You're worthy of it all. Venus totally agrees. So get on board, Venus, Scorpio risings. I know I'm working on it too. Sagittarius rising 11th house. Are you a Sagittarius? Are you a Sagittarius rising? It's hitting your 11th house. Okay, this is friendships. So for Saggy rising people, Sagittarius people, you've had big lessons regarding friends. So this definitely could be your friendship circles that are no longer serving you, or perhaps you've entered a new friendship circle. It's like, finally, I've found my people. Or maybe this full moon is illuminating for you. No, these are not my people. So Sagittarius rising, a lot about friends and groups. Also, the 11th house is the greatest good for all. So that should always be our prayer. That should always be our goal. So say we want the thing. Say we want the new relationship. Say we want the new house. At the end of that, like, okay, this is definitely what I want. This is definitely what I want. And the greatest good for all, right? So because maybe you're a mother of four like me, and maybe that dream house on the lake really isn't the greatest good for all. So my prayer always is to have that dream by the lake. I'm just putting it out there. But only if it's the greatest good for all, because oh, my four kids, they're everything. So always the greatest good for all. That Sagittarius, that might be really coming in to your dreams, to your visions as well. Okay, so we've talked, it's your friendships, it's your groups, it's the greatest good for all, it's the future. The 11th house is the future. So are you connecting with your future self? The Luna is up there illuminating in the sky so brightly where it's usually a dark sky. And we normally can't see those little speckles in the dark, right? But thanks to La Luna being so bright, we might be able to see now where we're going in the future. And maybe it has to do with letting go of those victim stories because they're no longer serving you. They're not part of that future self. Maybe you're connecting with your future self and you're not seeing any of those old victim stories, those sisterhood wounds, that gossip that you thought defined you, all that stuff that all of those friends put you through, whatever it is. Maybe you're now seeing like, oh, no, I'm worthy of so much more. And I'm worthy of so much more money in my bank. So I'm now open to the abundance. The 11th house is also internet and online. So if you're a Sagittarius rising and you want to start up something online, or you've already started something online, now you're seeing, now I know I'm worthy. I'm worth so much more. And you might like increase your prices, stuff like that. Okay, so 11th house, Sagittarius risings, you've got this. Keep your future self in mind. Drop those victim stories that are no longer serving you. And I do hope that the Venus retrograde served you well, because at the time of this illumination, this full moon in Libra that is ruled by Venus, you're going to be feeling that. Do you know your worth now regarding all those things, friendships and groups and future self and greatest good for all? Are you stepping into your worth now, Sagittarius rising? Because Venus retrograde was preparing you for this lunation, and I hope you're feeling that and step into that power of connecting with your future self. Okay, Capricorn rising, 10th house. Capricorn rising, 10th house. Oh, heck yes. Capricorn belongs in the 10th house. So you love this, right? You feel comfortable here, Capricorn rising people. This is your lunation here in the 10th. Yes. Okay. So what is being illuminated there? Has your career increased? Is La Luna up there and spotlighting the dark sky, all those things you can't normally see in the dark? What are you seeing? What is La Luna illuminating for you? That you've stepped up in your career, that you've stepped up in a title. Your title has changed since 6 months ago. Think back to those intentions you set 6 months ago in October, early October of last year. 6 months later, what's the harvest? Did you go from like assistant to CEO like you wanted to? Did you go from Ms. to Mrs.? Did you have a title change? Did your career increase? Also, stuff with your dad, because the 10th house is your dad. So maybe you're talking to your dad now and you weren't talking to your dad. Or maybe you're connecting with your dad in spirit now and you were never connecting with your dad in spirit. You're praying to your dad now, stuff like that. Stuff about dad and fatherhood wounds for sure. But Capricorn rising people, okay, you're thinking back to 6 months ago and you wanted a career, you wanted something to do with your title. What is La Luna up there illuminating for you? Has to do with relationships too. Maybe you're finally knowing your worth. Maybe you finally got that raise because Venus rules all things money and relationships and looking good. Maybe you finally look the way you wanted to look and you got the new outfits for work and your career and you're like that businesswoman you always thought you would be. So what is La Luna illuminating for you? Is there something that needs to go regarding all those things? You need to stop not knowing your worth. Maybe you have been working the same job for so long and you're not getting that raise, and that needs to stop. Venus wants all that money in your bank. Venus knows your worth. So are you stepping into your worth regarding all the things people can see? This is your public. It's a very public, it's the most public house, the 10th house. So how are you stepping out into the public? Let us know, Capricorn rising, what has shown up for you. Aquarius rising or Aquarius people, ninth house. If you're an Aquarius rising, the full moon is in your ninth house. The ninth house is a very spiritual house. This rules religion and spirituality. It also rules all things foreigners, so people from another country, and as well as other countries, and as well as traveling overseas. And of course, the ninth house is the great teacher, and it is going to school and learning the amazing things. So, what's showing up for you regarding all of those ninth house things? The luna's up there illuminating in the sky. It's so bright in a dark sky where you normally can't see in the dark. Well, the luna always illuminates. What was the darkness that you couldn't see? And 6 months ago, in early October, you set the intentions. You were writing in your moon journal and you wrote down your intentions. Okay, I want to get into that program at school. Okay, I want to travel overseas to so and so country. Has a trip come through? Are you now a teacher? Are you going to school? Have you stepped into your spirituality even deeper? Because this is a very spiritual house, right? So maybe you've had a massive spiritual awakening, Aquarius rising, and the Luna is illuminating that for you. You are now able to let go. Perhaps you were born religious and you've now left the religion, and you know you need to leave the religion at the time of this moment. It's something to do with that for you, Aquarius rising, but just remember about the rant that I did at the beginning of this video. Venus was retrograde since March 1st, and then it stations direct on April the 12th, the same day as this full moon. So Venus is up there with the moon saying, did you step into your worth? Did you own it? Okay. Because you're worthy of the best things in life. Venus is very bougie and loves all the bougie things. Venus loves to travel and wants that for you if that's what you want. Venus wants you to get into the greatest school if that's what you want, right? You're worthy of it all. And Venus wants you to believe what you believe, right? And to step into your worth and to be able to stand up and say, no, this religion doesn't work for me and this is my spirituality. So what is showing up for you, Aquarius rising, regarding all ninth house things, knowing your worth and opening up the heart to say, I am now available for all of the abundance from Venus to come in, because this full moon and its ruler Venus are working together on the same day, ready to bring in all of the abundance. So let us know, Aquarius rising, how that's hitting for you. Pisces rising, eighth house. So if you're a Pisces person with a lot of Pisces, you can listen for this too. But if you're a Pisces rising, it's hitting your eighth house. Okay. This is the butterfly house, I always say. This is the transformation house. You couldn't go back to the caterpillar even if you wanted to, because you are now a butterfly. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes house. So like the phoenix, it's like, ooh, I'm going down. Oh, I've reached rock bottom. Well, the phoenix says to itself, there's nowhere else to go but up. And now it's the phoenix rising from the ashes, because the ashes are down here and the phoenix rises. So it's that house. The eighth house is that house. So the eighth house is the shadow work house. It's like, okay, I am embracing the shadows, I'm doing the work, and I'm transforming my life. If there's one word for the eighth house, it's transformation. And it's that death rebirth. So La Luna's up there illuminating brightly in the dark sky. We can't see things in the dark, but La Luna says, okay, I'll light up the sky for you. I'll light up the darkness so that you can see it now. So have you completely transformed since October the 2nd when there was a new moon in Libra? 6 months ago, there was a new moon, and you were writing your intentions at the time of that new moon, and it was regarding a transformation. Maybe you've transformed your body. Maybe you quit drinking. A huge transformation has occurred. You did it. You reached rock bottom and you knew it back in October. And now, have you completely transformed? If not, it's okay. No need to go down a shame spiral. But La Luna is illuminating where you need to transform. Okay, where is it that your higher self is now begging you to transform? Something needs to end. And maybe, just maybe, it has to do with Venusian qualities. So, like friendships, maybe the friendships are huge distractions in your life and they need to go. They are not there for your highest good. Maybe it's about that. Maybe you have new friends now, and they are helping you reach your next level. Maybe you're now finally only available for people who encourage you to be your best self. Maybe now La Luna is illuminating, yes, you did that. Yes, you did that. You now know your worth, and now you are only surrounding yourself with romantic partners and friendships and otherwise people that encourage you to be your best self. Maybe La Luna is illuminating how far you've come, or maybe La Luna is illuminating what needs to go. Okay. The eighth house is also chunky money, I call it. So inheritance, taxes, the money that you're saving in with your spouse. So savings, right? Or perhaps you get some kind of an inheritance, and it might not be money, but it might be, you get grandma's tea set. It could be stuff like that that you're getting now. It's all happening, and it's very Venusian related. And it's stuff you've been working on since March the 1st, don't forget, because Venus has been retrograde since March 1st, stationing direct the same day as this full moon in your eighth house. So stuff to do with Venus, like money and worth, worthiness, friendships, motherhood wounds, all that stuff's all connected with the way you look. And so you might have had a major transformation just even with the way that you look. So let us know, Pisces rising, how this is particularly hitting you, Pisces people too. It's not just if you're a Pisces rising, let us know, Pisces. Aries rising or an Aries, strong Aries person. So I'm a strong Aries person, but I'm not an Aries rising. So this still hits for me. This is an example. Seventh house for you, Aries. And so it's all things relationships. Okay. So relationships, it's all things you're worth around your relationships. So, yes, your spouse. Yes, your life partner, of course. But it's also your best, closest friends, right? It's those business partners. And seventh house is also the open enemies. So it's the enemies that you know are your enemies, right? And so have you stepped into your worth? Because La Luna's up there illuminating so brightly in the sky, showing us what we can't normally see in the dark. That's what a full moon always does. And this one in particular is in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is stationing direct the same day. So it's a double whammy Venus information for you, Aries people, regarding your relationships. Do you know your worth now? Do you know that it was never your fault? Do you know this, Aries? Do you know that those smear campaigns that they set against you and they're still saying all the things and you know it's happening? Do you know that you're worthy of better? Do you know this now, Venus, Aries people? Sorry. Do you know that it was never your fault? And do you know that you are worthy of relationships that support you, that love you? All this stuff. Maybe you do know. Maybe you're finally in those relationships. And Luna is up there illuminating and Venus is stationing direct, clapping for you. Yes, you finally are going toward your people. This is what this illumination is about for you, Aries. Big time. Have you found your people? Are you finding your community? Do you know your worth? All those things. Let us know, Aries, because I'm a strong Aries. This is a strong one for me, even though I'm not an Aries rising. So that's why it's important to listen for your rising, your sun, and your moon so that you can get a full picture of what each of these lunations are doing for you. Taurus, sixth house. Taurus, sixth house. Are you a Taurus rising? Or are you a Taurus strong person? So a Taurus sun or stellium in Taurus, you can listen as well. But for sure, Taurus rising people, this illumination is in your sixth house. All things health, all things your health and your daily habits and daily routines. So the sixth house, I always say, is super boring because it's like you got up in the morning, you do the celery juice. You go for the morning walk. You do the morning stretches. Then you go to the gym. Da, 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 every single day. Get up and do it again tomorrow. Da, 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 da. Then you do your work every day. Do it again tomorrow. Do it again tomorrow. Super boring, but it's those habits that we do for ourselves to better ourselves, not only our body, but our mind and our spirit. You do it every day and you do it on a routine. And then it's those atomic habits, so to speak, that completely change your life. So what's showing up for you, Taurus, and has everything. You're ruled by Venus. So you know this energy well. And since March 1st, Venus has been retrograde. And then on the same day as this full moon, Venus is stationing direct. And Venus is right there with this full moon saying, so did you let go of those victim stories that you've been telling perhaps every day? And perhaps it's a victim story about your health. And perhaps it's a victim story about your job and what you have to do every day. Poor me, poor me. I have to do this every single day. This is what I have to put up with every day. Hey, Taurus, are you letting that go? Because if not, it might be very painful for you at the time of this full moon to let it go. And you might be feeling more passive aggression, and you're from that Mars in Cancer, and you might be feeling, well, what happens if I let go? What happens if I let go of all those stories I was saying that it was their fault and they are the ones that were gaslighting me? It's what you believe every single day. What is being let go for you, Taurus? It's going to affect your overall health, not only your body, but your mind and your spirit. Perhaps also for you, Taurus, it's something that you are now connecting to on a spiritual basis. Now, perhaps you went years without ever having a conversation with God in your spirit team, praying, meditating, we'll fill in the blank. But perhaps now you're knowing you have to do something on the daily meditation, daily prayer, whatever it is to connect with your spirit team again. Perhaps now you're willing to do it. You know your worth now because Taurus, your ruler, was in retrograde for about 40 days, stationing direct the same day of this full moon. Now you know your worth. You know you are worthy of doing these daily things at home, at work, every single day, in your mind, in your body, in your spirit, out there in the world every day, doing it every day. You know that this is better for you. This is an atomic habit that is going to completely change your life. And so up there in the skies, the full moon is illuminating the end of it or how far you've come, what has harvested. And perhaps you were feeling it in October, early October, 6 months ago, and you wrote your intentions and you wanted to have a health transformation. You wanted to change your daily habits. You knew you had to change things at work. You knew you had to change things about your body and you had to change things about your spirit, your mind. And now La Luna is illuminating how far you've come because you know your worth. This is the thing about this lunation. You know your worth because Venus is in charge of this full moon. And this full moon is all about knowing your worth. And when you know your worth, it's the same end of the stick. So here's the stick of worthiness. On one end is your worth, on the other end is your money and all of the abundance waiting for you. And once you start spinning the stick and knowing your worth, that's when you come into all of the abundance waiting for you on the daily basis at your job, and your body will work better, your mind will work better. So for you, Taurus, what is the story that has ended or you're ending regarding the victimization stories on the daily. Gemini rising, fifth house. So if you're a strong Gemini person, if you have a Gemini sun, or if you have a stellium in Gemini, or your moon's in Gemini, you can listen for that too. But if you're a Gemini rising, this illumination of this full moon is hitting your fifth house. And so Venus has taught you so much, Gemini rising, since March 1st. It's now going stationing direct the same day as this full moon up in the sky, illuminating so bright in the dark sky. Things you normally can't see in the dark. Gemini in the fifth house. For you, this is the joy house. Do you finally have fun in your life? Are you laughing again? Are you back to the inner child joy? Are you working on your inner child? You're realizing now is the time to work on my inner child. Or perhaps you've been working on the inner child. Perhaps you've been working on a relationship with your children. And it's something that you knew, you felt it back in October, and you wrote in your moon journal. You wrote in your moon journal back in October, early October of last year, I intend to have a closer relationship with my kids. Now, La Luna is illuminating. Look how far you've come. Has that harvested for you, Gemini risings? So it's joy, it's fun, it's children. The fifth house is also all creative projects. So yes, painting a picture. Yes, drawing the thing. Yes, coloring in your journal. Have you seen my Mandela manifesting journal that I made with Joanna the healer? This is all about coloring, returning to your inner child by coloring a mandala, an adult coloring, and then you get to see some beautiful intuitive guided messages from Joanna, and then you do the journaling alongside. It's a beautiful book available for sale on Amazon. So perhaps you're feeling this call to do inner child work and get back to the fun things, go for a bike ride, go swimming in the lake like you did when you were a kid. Perhaps you're feeling all those things, Gemini. So it's all those fifth house joyful and creative projects. Perhaps something has ended regarding all of those things I just said. So it opens the door for a new beginning with all of those things I just said. But don't forget that Venus is stationing direct the same day as this full moon in Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. And so for you, Gemini rising people, what is coming up for you at the time of this full moon in Libra? Because Venus wants to clap for you. Venus wants to bring you abundance regarding all those fifth house things I just said. So are you available for all of the abundance, or are you more in that square energy of like, I'm still in the passive aggression, I'm still feeling the push-pull, the anger? Are you there too? Again, it's no judgment, Gemini. It's okay to check in with your feelings, to be honest with yourself, because Venus wants you to have all of the abundance in this area of your life. And Venus is showing you what needs to stop so that you can get it, or Venus is showing you you now got it because you stopped those things. And again, like the rant that I was giving at the beginning of this video, it probably has to do with a victim story that you've been telling regarding fifth house things. A victim story you've been telling about your kids, or I can't get pregnant, or my pregnancy has been horrible, or I hate my kids, they're a bunch of you-know-whats, or I'm not creative at all. I can't do anything creative, nothing fun. I don't have any fun. Are you done with those victim stories? Whatever those victim stories regarding fifth house stuff, are you done telling them? Because we need to clean up that area of our life. We need to clean this up because Venus wants to give you all of the abundance for you, Gemini rising. Tell us, how is this resonating for you? Because it's hitting your fifth house of joy, fun, children, and all the funnest things in life. Let us know, Gemini. Cancer rising people. So if you're a Cancer rising, if you're a Cancer sun, or if you have a stellium in Cancer, it's hitting your fourth house. Oh, yes. This is where Cancer belongs. So with Venus stationing direct the same day as this full moon that is ruled by Venus, are you feeling all of the worthiness that you deserve regarding fourth house things? What is fourth house? Real estate, home, property, for sure. It's those things. Fourth house is your emotions as well. It's those deep inner feelings. It's those motherhood wounds, it's those sisterhood wounds, it's that family lineage, those family secrets, and the way my mom did it and the way her mom did it. And so I'm just going to keep doing that. Are you stuck in those victim stories? Because La Luna is bringing it up for you to either end or to say to you, yes, you let it go. Just because your mom and her mom and then that mom, and just because your friends are gossiping, and just because the sisterhood wounds have been there for so long, and this is just the way women are, or something along those lines, you're no longer available for that. The Luna is right there with Venus stationing direct, going, oh, you did it. Oh, yes, you did it. You knew that those victim stories were no longer serving you. And so now it's opening up a new door for abundance regarding real estate, home, property, sisters, friends that feel like sisters, moms. Maybe if you don't have a mom, then a mother figure, a grandmother figure. You're worthy of it. It was never your fault. You're available for this now. And I'm just like clearing out my throat chakra as I say that. Feeling that so deeply. You're worthy of this, Cancer rising. And so La Luna's up there, illuminating in the dark sky where it's normally so dark, shining brightness to what things you normally don't see, and wanting you to have it all, knowing that your worth, stepping into your worth regarding house, home, property, mothers, sisters, friendships, all those things, emotions, knowing that your emotions, you are worthy of being emotionally intelligent and having happiness. Yes. So are you feeling this on a deep level? Let us know, Cancer risings, Cancer people. If you're Cancer moon, Cancer stellium, it counts for you as well. Leo rising, third house, or maybe you have a Leo sun or a stellium in Leo. You're welcome here too. It's hitting third house for you. What is third house? Third house is the junk drawer. It's a lot of things. If it's one thing, it's your communication, the way you speak, the way you write, the way you talk, what you're saying, but it's also the internet. And it's also online projects. It's also your cars and your transportation, your scooters and your bikes. And it's also your neighborhood and your friends in your neighborhood. And it's also short distance travel and short distance trips. So, whew, that's a lot of things, right? That's all third house things. So, for you, Leo people, you set an intention 6 months ago because you were writing in your moon journal at the new moon in Libra, and you wanted a new beginning. You wanted a new start. You wanted something new regarding all those things in the third house that I just said. So now La Luna is up there in that dark sky, and it is shining a light on all the darkness that you normally can't see. And the fact of the matter is that Venus is stationing direct the same day as this full moon, and it is ruled by Venus. So Venus rules Libra. It's a Libra full moon. So it's like Venus, sorry, is wanting you to have all of the abundance regarding all these things, all these third house things. So what is showing up for you? Maybe you got a new car. Maybe you've made a community in your neighborhood now. Maybe you now know you need to stop hanging out with those neighbors because they are not for your greatest good. Maybe they're all gossiping about you. It's all that sisterhood wound stuff that Venus has been bringing up since it went retrograde March 1st. And you're now seeing it, where it's ending. It could be a lot of that kind of stuff for you, Leo rising. But it's also the way you're communicating a writing project, what you're putting out there on the internet, right? Let us know. The third house is a lot of things. Maybe you got that new car that you were hoping for, right? But let us know, and please do keep in mind that Venus is ruling the show here. Venus is stationing direct, it rules this moon, and it wants you to have all of the abundance in the world regarding all of these third house things. It wants all of that for you. So are you available? Are you available for all the abundance that the third house can give you, Leo rising? Let us know. What's showing up, or what do you know needs to end so that the abundance can come in? Let us know. And last but certainly not least, Virgo rising, second house. Okay, well, the second house is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus. So Venus loves the second house. So Virgo rising, or if you're a strong Virgo person, if you have Virgo sun, or if you have a stellium in Virgo, this also relates to you. What's showing up for you in the second house, Virgo people? Venus is ruling the show here with this full moon because Venus rules Libra. It's a Libra full moon. Venus has been retrograde since March 1st, is stationing direct April 12th. The full moon is on April 12th. So Venus is ruling the show. And Venus wants you to have all of the abundance in the world regarding second house things. The second house is your bank account. It's the money you're putting into your bank account. First and foremost, you know your worth in the second house. Therefore, the money flows in. And I always say worthiness is on, like if it were a stick, worthiness is on this end and your money is on this end. And so once the stick starts spinning, you know your worth. You step into your worth. You know your worth. You know you're worthy of all that money going into your bank, right? Because the second house is a money house. And if you've got Virgo as rising, then it's Libra rules your second house. And so are you stepping into your worth and knowing your worth? Perhaps it's been big lessons for you about your worthiness, knowing you're worthy of better, knowing you're worthy of good friendships, supportive business partners, lovely work environments, all those things, right? It all hits your second house because that's where your money comes in and you know your worth. And I'm bringing this up because Venus has been retrograde since March 1st. So you've been feeling this. And then all the eclipses happen. And now we're having the first lunation, and it's happening for you in your second house. So what did you learn through all of that crazy astrology, particularly with Venus? Because Venus is ruling the show of this particular lunation, saying, do you know your worth? Have you learned the worthiness? Did you know it was never your fault? You were worthy of so much more. You are that. And so, what's showing up for you regarding money stuff, perhaps relationship stuff? Because the name of the game here, too, this is a Libra full moon. It's the scales of justice, balance, and harmony. Is that coming back into your life? You are worthy of balance and harmony. And it could just have to do, maybe it doesn't have to do with your money, but it just has to do with your self-worth. Do you know your worth now, Virgo risings? So we've just gone through all 12 signs of the zodiac for you to understand your rising sign. Again, if you were listening for your sun or moon, that's cool too. I always listen to them all. I'm a strong Aries person, although I'm a Scorpio rising, so I listen to Scorpio first and I listen to Aries next. And this particular moon is in Libra, and there's so many lessons coming from Venus for all of us. I'm now shuffling the cards to get a tarot read on this first lunation after the eclipses of March. It wasn't just eclipses in March, was it? It was so much more. One of the things was a Venus retrograde, and Venus is ruling this full moon. And Venus wants us to have it all. Venus is very abundant. Venus rules abundance. Abundance is money, yes. But abundance is also an abundance of love, abundance of support, abundance of kindness. Venus wants this for all of us. So are we blocking our abundance by staying in friendships, relationships, work environments that just lack all of that? Are we more in the lack mentality side of Venus? That's the shadow vibe of Venus. Or are we in the high vibe of Venus, knowing our worth? And when you know your worth, you put an end to the relationships and the environments and the circumstances and the situations that refuse to acknowledge your worth. You simply refuse to be a part of that. You simply refuse to engage in any of that because Venus doesn't stand for that. Venus doesn't want that for you. Venus wants you to line up with all of the abundance waiting for you. This full moon is illuminating that for all of us. Have we lined up with what Venus retrograde was trying to get us to understand. Whenever it's a retrograde, any planet, it's a rethink, a reanalyze, a looking at it so that we can know our worth. And this one is knowing our worth on steroids because it was a Venus retrograde and Venus rules your self-worth. And so this full moon, whatever house it was hitting for you, is illuminating. Have you stepped into your self-worth? Do you know your worth? Because Venus wants you to be abundant in all of these areas of your life. So I'll provide the timestamps for you now. I'm going to pull a card on what is the message from this full moon. At the beginning of the video, go back and watch if you didn't see it. The big message I felt was dropping the victim story. Venus does not stand for living in victim stories. I'm sorry. And so we were all encouraged over the last, it was about 40 days of the Venus retrograde to no longer line up with those stories we've been believing, the lies we've been believing regarding staying where we are not being supportive, not being loved, because that's what Venus wants for us. Venus wants us to step into all of the abundance that we deserve. Okay, and now here is the card for this very powerful first lunation after the eclipse, March Madness. And here's the card. The Nine of Wands upright. Okay, look at her face. Can you see her face? Yeah. She's not frowning. She did a lot of work. She's okay. She's still strong. Wands is fire sign. So on the other side, we've got Aries and Chiron together, as I said at the very beginning of this video, bringing up all those wounds. We've still got it in us. I'm so proud of us. You can see she's still got, she's not frowning, and she's done so much work because there are 8 wands behind her, and she's still holding the 9th wand. And it's a 9-year. I keep talking about how 2025 is a 9-year. So much change. So much change is coming to us in 2025. And she's been doing it, and she knows it. It's not like she doesn't know these things. It's not like she's never heard, oh, right, victim stories are no longer serving me. It's not like she's never heard, oh, right, I've been working on my shadow work and the programs. It's not like she's never heard this before, but she's willing. She's willing to take it a little bit further and a little bit further and keep going and keep going. And she's at the end because it's the 9. The 9 is the final. We've done the work. We're going to keep doing the work. We're going to continue to heal. That's what I feel that this particular lunation is teaching all of us, especially with the sun in a fire sign in Aries. This Wands is a fire. It is the fire element. With the sun and Chiron together at the same degree, exactly opposite, this Venusian, I want abundance and all the bougie, wonderful things in life right across the road. We got the sun, the moon, and the sun direct. The sun is still keeping us honest with Chiron, saying, okay, great, keep doing it. Keep doing the shadow work. It's going to keep coming up all year long. Sorry, but it's going to keep coming up. These wounds of ours that we've been, these lies that we've been telling ourselves about our worth. The bottom line is we are worthy of so much more than what we believed in the past. We put up with so much. So let's not drown in those victim stories of all the things we survived. That's just it. We survived. We did it. We know it. And now let's move on. Let's keep going. We have the life force energy. Wands are life force. Fire is life force. We still have it in us. As empaths, we are extremely sensitive beings, but we signed up for this, and we know this in our deep cellular memories. We know we signed up to be here on planet Earth during this very pivotal time. This is the year that changes everything, and we know we have the life force energy to keep doing it. I see you. I know you're working hard on all of this. And I love that we keep showing up for each other and keep doing these moon updates for me as an astrologer and the people that can read energy like Joanna, my partner that we do our demystifying divinity with, she keeps showing up and she keeps channeling messages to support sensitive souls like us that are interested in these in astrology and channeled messages and energy updates. We're interested in these things because we know on a very deep level things are changing. We need to find our people. We need to connect with like-minded souls. And that's exactly what this full moon's all about. Venus wants all that for us too. But first, we have to unlearn all that programming that we thought was real. Those are lies. Okay, that isn't the truth. We are actually worthy of so much more, and it was never our fault. And to ruminate and to get to drown in those victim stories and drown in those shame spirals, we're no longer available for that because we have the life force energy within each of us to survive, not only survive, but to thrive. And that's what this full moon is illuminating for all of us. What were the Venus retrograde lessons? What is being illuminated for all of us? I would love to hear in the comments below. I love reading your comments. Tell me where you're from. Tell me where this Libra full moon is falling in your natal birth chart. What have you been experiencing through the Venus retrograde? And what's the big lesson? What's the big message from Venus at the time of this full moon? Please do share in the comments. Thank you so much. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. And I'll be back for the next new moon update. Until then, happy full mooning. Take care.